What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about is how to grow more facial hair. So I'm assuming it's good that I said guys instead of like y'all or something like that, since if you're growing facial hair, you're probably a guy, or if you're trying to at least. But yeah, so let's just get right into this. Hopefully you enjoy this. Be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And yeah, so how to grow more facial hair. I'm going to give two quick disclaimers. I'm hoping they're quick, but two disclaimers. The first one, which you're probably not going to listen to if this applies to you, but if you were below 18, I wouldn't even suggest doing this yet. But people usually do say to wait to do this until you're about like 21 to 25, which most people are not going to wait. I didn't even wait that long, but if you're 18 or below, I would suggest waiting until at least you're like 19 or 20 to do this, because this is like a chemical or artificial way of manipulating your body to producing more facial hair. Even though naturally you do have a baseline of facial hair that you will grow, your testosterone will increase this facial hair growth, but there's a lot of people that won't even start growing any facial hair until they're about 18, 19, 20, which I'm one of those people. I didn't grow any facial hair at all until I was about 19 years old, and even then it was super thin, hardly any. And if I weren't to be doing this now, I would probably still have hardly any. But if you are below 18, I would suggest at least waiting until you're 18, because you will start to naturally produce some facial hair. It may not be that much, but it also may be a lot, but you have to be willing to wait first, because this may affect how you naturally produce it otherwise. And you could get a lot of facial hair growth naturally without doing this and use this as a way to thicken up your beard. But yeah, I just wanted to give that first disclaimer. And the second one is just that this is very time consuming. This will not like time consuming all at once, but like this will take a probably very long time for you to do, depending on your genetics. Some people will hardly grow any facial hair and will start doing this process, and then they'll just grow a ton of facial hair super quick. I was not one of those people, unfortunately. So it can take anywhere from 6 months to 2 years, or maybe even a little bit more. But the more consistent you are, the less time that it's going to end up taking. I have taken so long to do this, or it's taken me so long to do this, because I have been taking like there was a time when I first started, and then I kind of gave up, and then I took a few months break, and I just wanted to start doing it again, and then just back and forth doing it and not doing it consistently the whole time. But the more consistent you are, the more results you will get, the faster you'll get the results, and the quicker that you can stop doing this and just have a beard for the rest of your life. But let's get right into this. So I do want to state, though, I don't know all the science on this. I'm not going to pretend like I know everything, like all the science behind it, but I do know generally how it works, because I have done this on myself. So obviously, I'm not a beard guru or anything. I don't have a huge beard, but I feel like I'm a good candidate for this, because I used to have hardly any facial hair. I'll have a picture up on screen or on the thumbnail, but I hardly had any facial hair at all. So what we're doing is going to be something you probably already heard of, which is going to be minoxidil and derma rolling. So individually, they work all right, but together, they can work wonders. They are very, very effective, and this is probably going to be the only way, if you don't grow facial hair naturally, how you're going to be able to manipulate your body in order to grow it, other than like spiking your testosterone super, super high, like taking steroids, which even then it's not going to directly cause you to grow a giant beard, but it could help with it. But also testosterone does help. But either way, basically how this works, when you it's called microneedling or derma rolling, but you use a derma roller. It's a little wheel with a bunch of little tiny needles on it, and when you roll it on your skin, it increases blood flow in the area directly, which leads to more hair growth. And from what I understand, if I'm correct, it increases collagen directly to the area. It's going to be different than taking a collagen supplement, because that's different. You're taking it orally and it's going into your body, but it's not sending it directly to this area. And plus, when you take a lot of collagen and biotin and keratin and all that stuff, it can make your skin break out a lot more, and you probably don't want that. And that's what I started doing at first, and it did kind of make me start breaking out. I don't know if that's a myth. Maybe I was just breaking out a lot at the time, but it's not really helpful. So I would suggest not trying to do like biotin, keratin, and all that other extra stuff. I would just say just focus on this. But basically, derma rolling your skin increases blood flow and collagen directly to the area where you want to grow hair. So you want to be derma rolling in the areas where you want facial hair growth. You don't want to just do it all up on your whole face like this. I've seen people doing videos of it, and no, you don't want to do that. You want to be doing it in the shape of the facial hair you want to grow. So I literally only grew a little bit of hair right here and right here originally, like a little tiny patch. That was it. But when I was derma rolling, you derma roll in all the different areas. So I derma roll all around here. I derma rolled here, down all my chin area. I did this whole area right here. I grew new facial hair up here. I've been derma rolling this area and the whole area underneath. So it's going to be a higher surface area if you want facial hair all over, but you don't want to be derma rolling all the way up here. Again, you want to be only derma rolling in the areas that you want facial hair to grow. And the same is going to be for the minoxidil. But I'm going to get in the process and how it actually works in a minute here, but I'm just kind of trying to give you a general idea. So you're derma rolling your face. It increases collagen and blood flow to the area, which will increase the amount of hair that is growing. So that's going to be the derma rolling. You're only going to be doing that one time a week. You can do up to 2 times a week, but you only need to be doing it one time a week. People say do every 2 weeks. That's okay. 2 weeks is going to be effective, but I think if you do it one time a week, that is a really, really good way to do it. I'm not going to be 100% certain on whether or not it speeds it up even more. Most people say do it just once every other week. I personally do it one time a week. If you're lazy and just want to do it once a week, because it does take a little bit of time, do it every other week. It's still going to be probably just as effective. But if you're a slow responder like I am, I would suggest maybe doing it once a week rather than once every other week. But that you're going to be doing that frequently. And the minoxidil, which let me get my minoxidil. So the minoxidil, you can get any kind. I recommend just getting the 5%. I doubt you need the 10%. Usually that's going to be people that are balding like on top of their head. I don't really think you need more than the 5%, but you can get either the liquid version or you can get the foam. I have both of them. I've tried both of them, and personally what I would recommend is if you do not have hardly any facial hair at all, this is going to probably be the way to go. It's really good at dissolving fast. I don't know what the word is for dissolving, evaporating, because it is a foam, but it has some kind of alcohol in it. So when you put your fingers to it and put it on your face, it almost starts like melting, like the foam just turns into liquid, and you spread it in the area, again, that you want hair. You don't want to put it anywhere other than where you want hair. And I highly advise, if you are not already balding, make sure this is not getting on your head, because for your head, how minoxidil works is once you start using it, your body will rely on it. And if you stop using it, your hair will not grow anymore in that spot. It'll fall out. So don't be using this too close to the top of your scalp or anything like that, because wherever you use this on the top of your head, your body's going to rely on it to produce hair in that area, which obviously you do not want. But otherwise, just do it only in the areas on your face where you want to grow facial hair. So if you just want to grow like a little thing, you want to just grow a chin strap, just do it in the area where you have facial hair. And the liquid version is going to be just as effective. They're both just as effective, but I would recommend this more so for people that don't have any facial hair at all, or any beards, or people that shave very frequently, because what is good about it is that you can spread it very easily. It's very easily spread into the area that you want it, and it evaporates really fast, so it dries on your face really quick. Though the only thing that I don't like about this one is that it really, really, really dries slowly, and it's kind of annoying. Like if you do that in the morning, I do my face wash routine, which I'll talk about here in a minute, in the morning, and then immediately after I put on my minoxidil, because you're supposed to wash your face before you apply your minoxidil. But the only problem about the liquid version is that it dries a lot slower. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe it's because it has less alcohol in it, not sure, but it does dry a lot slower. But if you have a thicker beard, this is going to be a superior option. If you have facial hair already and don't want to shave it off all the way, sometimes I like shaving my face every week in order to make sure that this is getting into the skin, because you want to make sure that the minoxidil is getting to the skin, not just touching the hair. You don't want the hairs just soaking all of it up, because really that's kind of just going to dry up the hairs. You want it to be hitting the actual skin and like the pores. But this is going to be for good if you already have some facial hair, because this stuff will, like I said, it evaporates really easily. When you try and spread it, if you already have facial hair, a lot of it will just soak into the hairs, and not that much of it will get into the skin, which will make it less effective. So if you use this minoxidil, the liquid version, it's going to be easier to make sure that the liquid is actually getting to the skin and that the hair is not just soaking all of it up. So when you are shaving your face and all that throughout the week, or lack thereof shaving, either are fine. Neither of them are going to hinder your results. Most people say to trim, not to shave all the way down. You can shave all the way down if you want to. If you just like this version better, shaving down or just having very short facial hair is going to be better for this, if any at all. And this is going to be for if you want to keep your beard and still be applying minoxidil, because it's going to reach the base better. You just want to make sure that when you're squeezing it and applying it to your skin, that it is directly touching your skin and that you're spreading it properly, because you don't want your hair to soak all of it up. You want it to get to your skin. So for the minoxidil, you're going to be doing this stuff twice a day, one time in the morning, one time at night. That's all you have to do it. Do not do it more than that. There's no point in doing it more than that. There's 1 milliliter thing on here. That's what it says. Do 1 milliliter. And with the dropper, there's like a little line. And then for this, in the cap, if you can see somewhere in the cap, you probably can't see it, but in the cap, there's a line. You put the thing inside of it and then fill it up with foam up until that cap level that it says, and spread it all in your face in the area that you want hair to grow. So one thing about minoxidil, it's going to dry your skin out a lot, especially if you're doing it every day. And if you actually wash your face, which I like to do because I get acne really bad. So if I don't wash my face, it'll start breaking out a lot and it's really annoying. And when you use a face wash that really cleanses the skin, a lot of times it's going to dry your skin out a little bit. And that obviously is going to be an issue if you're using something with alcohol in it that dehydrates the skin even more every single day, twice a day. So if I'm washing my face daily and using something on my skin that dries it out twice daily, that's really going to make my skin dry. So before you apply the minoxidil, you want to make sure that you wash your face. That's just what you should do. Wash your face before you use the minoxidil. There's obviously different kinds of facial cleansers. There's ones that really will dry out the skin because they're strong and they're good for killing acne. And then there's the ones that are just kind of pretty neutral and they're not really making your skin dry or anything like that. And then there's intentionally hydrating facial face washes. So my personal method, I'm not saying you have to copy me, but what I do is when I wake up in the morning, I use a hydrating face wash. I'm not saying this is the best one. This is just the one that I use. I can afford it, and it's hydrating. It cleans my face off, but it's not harsh to the skin. It's not going to dry my skin out, which is what I want, because when you have like a ton of peeling skin right here, it doesn't really look that good. So I use a hydrating face wash first thing in the morning when I wash my face off. Then afterwards, I apply my minoxidil. After I do my whole morning routine, whatever, I apply my minoxidil immediately after. When your skin's dry, make sure your skin's dry before you apply the minoxidil. So you apply the minoxidil, and then after that, you want to make sure that it dries before you do any kind of moisturizing. People say you're supposed to wait 4 hours before you moisturize, but that's not true. It's simply not true. You want to make sure that you're moisturizing your skin for sure, because that's going to help with the hair growth too, and it looks so much better. When you have really dry white skin and it's like peeling, that doesn't look good, it doesn't look attractive. So you want to make sure you're hydrating your skin, and I recommend getting a pretty neutral, again, not super intense facial moisturizer. Again, CeraVe or whatever. I'm not saying this is the best one. This is just the one that I have. It's good. It's a good facial moisturizer. It's pretty neutral. It's not scented. Get a non-scented one if you can. But basically, you want to wait until your minoxidil dries completely on your face. And then once it's dry, then you apply your facial moisturizer. You want to make sure though, if you didn't apply facial moisturizer to the rest of your face already beforehand, that when you're applying facial moisturizer in this area, not to start rubbing it up. Because if you apply minoxidil here and you use face moisturizer right here and you put it up, then you're going to start getting minoxidil all over your face, and that is not what you want. So if you really want to moisturize your whole face, which I don't even care to moisturize, like I have naturally oily skin, so my face pretty much stays moisturized, like all in the top area and right here and everything like that. Other than my beard, it stays pretty moisturized anyway. I just really need to moisturize my beard area because it gets really dry because of the minoxidil. So I don't really feel the need to moisturize the rest of my face, but I really would highly recommend making sure that you're moisturizing your skin where your beard area is, because it's going to get really dry from the minoxidil. So again, I use this facial cleansing moisturizing facial cleanser, and then afterwards dry it, apply minoxidil. Then once my minoxidil is dry, then I apply this in my whole facial hair area to make sure my skin is properly moisturized. So that's what I do in the morning, and then at night when I use my more harsh facial moisturizer, I basically do the same thing. I just just use my facial moisturizer, or my more harsh face wash on my face. So at night, I will get my face wash, the one that kills acne, use it, whatever, dry my face off, apply the minoxidil, and then wait till that dries. And then after my minoxidil dries, that's when I apply the face moisturizer to make sure that before I go to bed, my beard is going to be moisturized and my skin's not going to be super dry. Really quickly, I forgot to mention, if you want to go above and beyond to make sure that your skin and your facial hair is properly moisturized to the highest degree, make sure that 3 to 4 hours after you apply the minoxidil and all that jazz, that you go ahead and wash your face again and apply more moisturizer to your skin. If you don't want to do that, it's completely not necessary, but if you want to go above and beyond and make sure that your facial hair is staying as moisturized as possible, as well as your skin, just wash your face again completely after 3 to 4 hours to get everything off of your skin and out of your facial hair. So for the minoxidil, that's all you really need to know. That's just my personal routine to make sure that my skin is dry, or to make sure that my skin is not dry, and to make sure that my hair is properly getting moisturized as well. And yeah, so minoxidil 2 times a day, that's my personal routine, and that's how you do that. So for the derma rolling, this is where it gets a little tiny bit more complicated. Not too much, maybe not, maybe it's even less complicated, who knows. But basically, for the derma rolling, like I said, you only need to do it once every other week or once a week. But the needle length is going to be important. You don't want to get too big of a needle, because that's where people can go wrong with this. They're like, oh, it's supposed to needle the skin. That obviously means that it should probably go deep. You don't want it to go too deep. You're stimulating the skin on your face by the little tiny needles that you're rolling into your face, but you don't want it to damage. It does a little bit of damage, but you don't want to damage it too much, because then it has to use more of the nutrients to rebuild the skin to make sure that it's okay, because it's damaged. If you damage it too much, it's not going to be able to focus on the collagen, using the collagen for the hair growth. It's going to be using that to repair your skin. But the length needle that you want to get, the best one I would say, is 0.5 millimeters. The only time you want to get bigger than that, which is the one I have right here, I don't know how good you can see that, but let me try and focus the camera. Hold up. This one is 0.75 millimeters. This one is pretty big. You don't need to get one this big, unless, like me, when you don't feel like shaving your whole face, you kind of want to keep your beard. I go through phases. Sometimes I like being completely clean shaven. Sometimes I like my beard kind of short. Sometimes, like right now, I just let it grow out. But if you have an area like this, or thicker probably, since I don't really grow super thick facial hair, if it's thick, really thick, it's okay to get a 0.75 millimeter one, because it's harder for the needles to reach the skin because the hair gets in the way. But if you're freshly shaven, or you have short facial hair or hardly any at all, you're going to be good with the 0.5 millimeters. You don't need to go any bigger than that. You don't want to damage the skin too much. So again, 0.75 is if you have a lot of facial hair in the area and you want to derma roll and you don't want to shave it. So that's how you do that. And then also I'll show you my 0.5 millimeter one that I have right here. Same thing. Same thing applies. It's just a derma roller. You can get them on like Amazon. It doesn't really matter, but try and get a higher quality one. There'll be some ones that say specifically, focus on my. Hold up. Okay. So this is the one that I have. It doesn't matter which one you get. You don't got to get the same exact one as me, but this is the one that I have. Nothing fancy or too crazy. Literally just got it on Amazon, like $15. But you're going to derma roll your face once every other week or once a week, and you only need 0.5 millimeters. So you got your derma roller and you're ready to derma roll. You want to make sure that you don't apply minoxidil in the 24 hours after you derma roll. So if you derma roll, people say 18 hours, but it's basically 24 hours. So if you derma roll at night, you don't want to put minoxidil on your face until the next night. Important things to know about derma rolling. So again, don't apply minoxidil directly after, because that will cause the minoxidil to go directly in your bloodstream, which is not the purpose of minoxidil. It goes into the skin soaks it up. You don't want a bunch of it going directly in your bloodstream. It's not good for you. So 24 hours after you derma roll, then you can apply minoxidil. You can still apply facial moisturizer after you do it. And it's probably going to hurt a little bit. Your face is probably going to be a little bit red, but that's all right. So that's one thing you need to know about derma rolling. The other thing you need to know is that when you do it, there is a super optimal way, and then there's just a way that, again, works good. You don't need to do anything more than that, but you could do it better, which is when you go up and down, you're supposed to do 10 up and downs, and wherever, every single area you want hair, you're supposed to go up and down 10 times. You're supposed to go side to side 10 times, and then you're supposed to go diagonal in both directions 10 times. Each in every spot on your face that you want hair. You don't have to do the diagonal ones. It's all that's mandatory is going up and down in every spot with facial hair 10 times, and then side to side, or side to side then up and down, whatever. But what a lot of people don't tell you, which is really important to know, is you are not supposed to just go like up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down in the same spot. What you're supposed to do is actually go in the same direction the whole time. So if I'm doing 10, like right here in this area, if I'm doing it 10 times vertically, first I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Because then the needles are staying in the same spot, and you're just pushing the needles further in the same spot, if that makes sense. Since the wheel's turning, the needles are all going to be pricking in the same spot. So you're not really trying to hit the same exact spot every time with the needle. What you're trying to do is just generally make sure that there's a bunch of little holes in the skin in those areas. So when you go side to side, same concept. Instead of going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you'd go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, or the other way horizontally, whatever. But you want to go in the same direction 10 times. And the same for diagonal. If you're going diagonal, you don't want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You want to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then so on. So every area that you want facial hair, you're going to want to go up or vertically, horizontally, and then diagonally 10 times each for optimal gains or whatever. But if you just don't want to do that much work, just up and down 10 times, and side to side 10 times for all the areas that you want to grow facial hair. So that's pretty much all that you need to know about derma rolling, I think. Again, just want to remind you though, don't derma roll too hard. You really don't need to push super hard in your skin. It may feel like in certain areas like I'm not pushing hard enough. Make sure that try and pull your skin. One tip that I have is right here in this area where it's just cheek and there's no bone. It's going to be harder for it to really get into your skin properly. So you may have to pull your skin flat like that to really make sure that the roller is going straight up and down flat on every single thing. It's easier right here because there's a really hard bone on your chin. So it's really easy for it has something hard that it's sitting against to roll the thing. But when there's no bone, it's going to be a little bit harder. So you might want to go like this when you do it to make your skin flat. And yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. I'm going to go over everything really quick again, just to make sure that y'all got all of that. So for the minoxidil, when you're applying it, you want to make sure you wash your face beforehand, and you want to make sure your face is dry before you apply the minoxidil. After you apply the minoxidil, if you're making sure your face is moisturized, you want to wait to use the facial moisturizer until, you don't want to use the facial moisturizer until your skin is dry. When you apply the facial moisturizer, don't spread it to the rest of your face where you don't want hair, because that will spread the minoxidil to that area. And then if you're washing your face at night, same thing applies. You just wash your face, then apply minoxidil once it's dry, blah, blah, blah. So that's what you do for the minoxidil. Do that twice a day, every day, except for right after, or is it preceding? I think preceding derma rolling. When you derma roll, which you're going to do either once a week or once every other week, when you derma roll, you don't want to use minoxidil for the 24 hours after that. So again, when you derma roll, what you're going to do is go in one direction, 10 strokes, 10 strokes in every direction, up and down vertically, horizontally, side to side, and then diagonally both directions if you really, really want the most out of your growth. And you want to make sure you're not pushing too hard because you don't want to damage the skin too much, because that will lead to slower hair growth. So you need to do that once a week, once every other week, and you're going to use 0.5 millimeter derma roller. So that should be pretty much everything. Make sure you're applying your facial moisturizer. Don't let your skin get too dry. And I would highly suggest making sure you're washing your face, because you're definitely going to get some ingrown hairs. But the last thing you want is ingrown hairs in your beard and acne in your beard that you can't really get because there's hair there. So make sure y'all are washing your face. Please, men of this world, wash your face. And yeah, that's pretty much everything. So hopefully this was helpful to y'all and y'all can get the most out of your gains. If you do, let me know below. That'd be super awesome. And yeah, so that should be everything. Make sure to use code MONKEY at checkout at getrawnutrition.com, and as well as the Retaliation Project. I think it's Project Retaliation? I think it's retaliationproject.com. But code MONKEY, MONKY at checkout for 10% discount. That would be awesome. If you do, be sure to let me know. Tag me on Instagram. I'll have my socials below, and be sure to check the description for my free workout program. I'm probably going to be adding new ones as I create them moving forward, and to get the rest of my socials and stuff like that, it's going to be on my link tree. Again, description below. Free workout program. Make sure to click that if you want it. But yeah, I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your day, and I will see y'all in the next one. Grow them beards.